way that his net worth isn't worth much.
Well, that's not really fun.
He can bank on the #1 spot in our top 20 countdown.
You know, that's truly a shame. When you want to prank somebody's love, it's just a game. But that's not really a game. It's a real thing of life. And that shame is real. But now it's reversing. God thought that shame was brought on to blame. You know, and it stays with. But there's a time, if you can understand, when that reverses itself. And all that time, you know, if you withheld from those pranking times, that's a very big plus. Because a prank on your love, and that love is so real, is a vile trick that only an Obama can play. Time to stop being tricked. Wake up, people. Wake up, people. I'm the wake up people. But they're all such prankers. They would settle for a dime instead. Some things I'm not saying here, I'm just not saying because I'm not gonna say that, you know. Because when you give them too much and they think they can hurry to the end and solve it, and but that can always be changed. I need to get something done here. Jeez. My arm is clearing up somewhat now. It's still pretty swollen. And just today I'm able to get in here and touch. I can even touch my head. Oh, right there hurts. Not my head, my elbow. Oh, that's just a joke around. That's not a vicious prank. When you feel it in time, and it's just makes you chuckle. And chuckle, something's gained, and there's nothing lost. Like what happens with the prank. People wake up. It's Obama's time to end. Can you imagine someone like this when the discoveries of all comes out, of all truth about him, and having to live with that the rest of your lives? Obama living with himself the rest of his life. That's the greatest sentence that could ever befall an evil person like him from Islam. So no one will harm you, as it is written in the book of the Bible. What will befall one that harms or kills the people of Cain? And surely this is where Obama, where his fame is going, and that is in Islam. Remember that. When his term's ended, fine, but the things that he's done will unfold, and they will come out and come off of, and we'll get some normalcies back to this planet, in America, and the way things we believe they are, and as the way they should be, and it's fulfilling, just getting this energy, this thing we do with our workings, and all of our workings, and all the things that people do. There's no limit on that. There's no highs, there's no lows, it's not limited. It's just being able to do something is creating something in that moment for you. And can you imagine these moments created like that, but joining with another and another and another and another and another and another and another, and these wow, imagine that thought, and it doesn't end. I can't sit here, I don't have enough battery time to do that. Wow. Well, I think that's where our heaven is to be sent, I think those are beautiful thoughts. Oh, man. So, Obama, you will live, but it won't be heaven sent. Punishments, it's back on you. If you would have loved America, you'd have truly loved America and loved its people through thick and thin. We're all equal and the same, but we have dispersing interest. And I know the ones that are lower such, because we don't want that lower, because it takes away. But see, that is there. It's not to be the higher or lower, but it's lower meaning things that are carried out and done that are not in, say, a godly manner or honor. That's not acting like a holy man. And all men should become holy men. All men need to be holy men and act as holy men. And when you see someone, you're a holy man. He's a holy man. Just as there's holy women. And that's how we'll meet and greet each other. Do you think it's possible? Without pranking and joking and dragging in someone just so far just to see, but not really be, but only just to take. Oh, there's so many of them. See, that creates a prank and a problem. That's something that's not for a holy man. So, if you happen to rethink that thought and become a holy man. You know, a holy man is what does. So just being relaxed, loving, normal, and speak to someone you don't know, but like you know them. There's something wrong in that. Because even my father could do that. And he was from a very poor man. But not poor. For the things he said. The things he held inside. His truth. You can't hide from that. You don't hide from that. It's open and honest and what things are in your life. But at becoming this, every man's a holy man. There will be no strife. Because if you would like to think of and how to work it and make things happen for a good cause, a good and not use it personally for yourself, for your gain, because that's a horrible prank. You wouldn't want to do that to anyone. That's what a holy man would think. Because this world's got to change. Yeah, it might as well be me. You know? Might as well be me. Should have thought this up and wrote a song about it, you know? It might as well be me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It might as well be me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uncle Tom, yeah. Uncle Tom. Yeah, it was Uncle Tom, but I was never brought harm or meant hurt to anyone in the family that branches out to the families. But that just, in speaking of intent, when you're with someone, love should be intent in all pauses. Now when you meet someone, you're speaking, you're talking, and there's that moment of pause. That's a moment of sharing, and you're breathing in the Creator Father's soul. Creator. Now, what a true moment of love. But you don't then misbehave with this feeling, because it fills your whole being, your whole body. And if you were to move and stretch out around your arms and legs and such, and gentle stretching movements, it energizes this globe that's around us. I've talked about this before, and that's what makes a big difference. And it gets to be all over you. Kind of hard to continue these sometimes because they go places that, it's like some things I don't like to say, So I become hesitant. After a moment of what say, because, could I have presented that even better than, So we don't want to reach and claw, and you can't hurt anyone. It's not the Father's way. The thing is that no one have learned this feeling, and they prank it on others. And see, that should be that's forbidden. And if you're with someone, you want to share someone, you want to feel someone, there's a point of marriage in that, between the two. And there shall be no other. The act of sex is a very large part of that, because of the communion, spiritual communion that is taking place between a man and a woman. And when you've got these energies built up, you see there are other things to be said, but well, now I know what they mean by you can't give them this until you give them that. Because there's a gap that would be skipped, and that would be a gap in understanding. Oh, can you imagine a gap in understanding in a generation could be caused by someone like Obama? And all the things I've said to him ever so far is, man. But this thing of love, that's between a man and a woman. Sometimes you have this feeling, and it may be with a male. If you're female with female. But you have to understand that's part of the family. Somehow, you two are connected in family through the bloodstream, the tree of life. And male to male, it doesn't mean you go and cohabitate with them. That's not what it's meant to be. someone in your past has married male to female, one under your name or surnames, and that's blood connection. If you feel that with someone, there's a blood connection. And you don't get kinky sex. Come on. That's unreal. You can be such buddies, such charged up friends that could never be foes. Never be foes to be that strong. Because it's in the blood. And if you happen to be man to the woman, somewhere in your blood, but not close next of kin, because you know how they say this could bring sin, but it's too close to the genes that where the coming is real. And when those two go into one, it makes it a very powerful deal. And, you know, to give to that love, be it man with a woman, when it's there and that feeling, and irregardless of the circumstances that, you know, your marriage vows are brought in, this is to be allowed. But not from to someone that's like married within. You know, someone from the outside, not in the immediate course sending lines of the family in the area. If someone from outside of us not in, and then there's that feeling comes in, well, that makes it a happening. But if that's from the outside, but it can't already be from the inside, you know. But if it was, you know, I say you can't be from the inside, but if it were from the inside, but they've made, well, there's laws, you know, against and sayings about that, but, you know, it's like a tree of life. Why would you tell the truth about the truth of life when so much could be hold and be fold there? And they keep hiding by lying about the truth. And that kind of connection would be very, very strong. Because it's within the family lines. Someone outside of that may not hold the young tenders, the children, to rear, may not hold them as dear, you know, and as dearly as someone, you know, within the immediate family line. And the genes to maybe very strong. And that's, you know, it's family, you know, for it to carry on. Now that's all that's meant for. Touche. Motor City Masters. Well, I gotta go do some things and move. But it's, you know, it's always nice talking with you. I got some hearing aids and I can try to hear you. But you know, truth is nothing ill intent, but I have them out and they're just mumbling, talking's going on. But you know, something said that would concern you normally, well, you can't hear it, you know. And I guess people, I guess they think that it's okay or something, you know, but, you know, if I could hear well about what you're saying, would you really be saying it? And so that right there in itself in a judgment of what's to do well and what's not to do well. We've already made that decision, that choice. Think about that one. Yeah, just love one another. Now I gotta put this feeling into something, you know. There's nobody here. But if I go to, you know, someone around, geez, you don't even know these people, you know. I got to know people when I was younger. I mean, fully lived. But then, you know, just for a quick brief, I was never there long enough. Always moving. 1 year, 7 schools in 4 different states. Well, that's what I call moving. And I grew to love and play. I mean, it was, well, what an experience, you know, from one so young. I already learned, you know, jeez. Yeah, that's the question. And you don't know. But it isn't something that, you know, you made up. It was something of what we can see the grandchildren doing, and it's repeating. So it was learned from some voice, someone, some thought. I remember being in love with a little Mexican girl in that place in by the Great Salt Lake. Lakeside, I think it was called. She was so beautiful. I wanted to marry her, you know. I mean, the feeling, the stuff was there. But some girls put that out. They learn how to put that out there. And that's tricking. All you girls are not really sharing. You're just tricking.